From eco-friendly and animal-protecting legislation to old laws left over from a bygone era, today we look at the biggest bans in California. Number 11. Plastic bags. In hopes of combating both needless waste and the menace of littering on public beaches, California introduced a ban of single-use plastic bags in 2014. While many expected this prohibition to spark protests and have ill consequences on the economy, for the most part, the public has taken to the limitation fairly well. The majority of consumers have adjusted to opting for reusable bags, including the thicker plastic bags still offered by stores for 10 cents each. Litter on beaches contributed from plastic bags has fallen greatly since California removed the 13 billion annually used single-use plastic bags from their economy. Number 10. Animal testing. Aligning with the state's focus on tackling environmental issues and animal cruelty, California Governor Jerry Brown signed the California Cruelty-Free Cosmetics Act into law in 2018. This law will be enacted at the beginning of 2020 and will restrict the selling of cosmetic products and ingredients that have been tested on animals. To a point, any products that were tested on animals prior to 2020 are allowed, but anyone selling cosmetic goods that have undergone animal testing after this date will be subject to thousands of dollars in fines. This move follows the footsteps of nations like India, Israel, Norway, and the entire EU, and has been praised as a great step in the right direction by cruelty-free advocates. While ethically commendable, some have pointed out loopholes in this ban. Many foreign countries actually require animal tests before cosmetic products can be sold to their citizens, the largest of which is China. So as to not interfere with international commerce, companies are allowed to continue animal testing their goods as long as it's for the sake of doing business with foreign parties. And should those products have undergone this method of testing specifically to meet foreign regulatory standards, then they will still be fine to sell in California. Time will tell if this crack in the law will be mended to meet ethical expectations. Number 9. Smoking. California first banned smoking in bars and other public establishments back in 1995 and has been continuously limiting the space in which smokers can light up ever since. State taxes on tobacco products have increased heavily, raising the price of cigarettes in California to at least $2 more than the rest of the country. Officials in 2004 took the smoking ban to the next level by banning the smoking of cigarettes within 20 feet of either an entrance or window of a public building. And 2008 saw the implementation of a law listing smoking in a vehicle with a minor as an infraction. In 2018, the California Air Resources Board officially declared cigarette smoke as a toxic pollutant. Then in 2019, beaches and public parks became the latest places where smoking cigarettes was no longer allowed. And these limitations are only at the state level. Many Californian cities have enacted local laws to make smoking on sidewalks and other locations not covered. Despite the restrictiveness of these laws, it's hard to argue their effectiveness. Studies have shown that California's rate for lung cancer has declined at least 4 times faster than the rest of the country. Number 8. Beach bonfires. One of the oldest pastimes among Californians is the beloved bonfire at the beach, bringing families and friends fond memories for decades. But this traditional West Coast practice has taken its toll on California's shores. Bonfire debris became a growing issue for beachgoers in recent years, with soot, nails, lumber, and even hot coals littering beaches up and down the state. Even worse, this buried waste poses dangers to unsuspecting visitors. So in response to this problem, the California Department of Parks and Recreation has limited the means by which the public can start a fire on the beach. Through fire pits, fire circles, propane grills, and butane burners, citizens are still allowed to enjoy their beach-based pyres. But gone are the days of starting raging bonfires on any old plot of sand. This ban isn't limited to beaches either, as these regulations also apply to any park in the state of California where wildfires continue to be a common menace. Number 7. Disposable water bottles. Not all monumental bans occur on a state or even city level. On August 20th, 2019, the San Francisco airport banned the sale of disposable plastic water bottles, marking the first ban of its kind in any major American airport. All vendors throughout SFO are subject to the rule, though it only applies to plain bottled water products of any size. Beverages like juice, soda, and even seltzer and flavored water are still approved to sell in plastic containers. To replace them, the airport offers over 100 locations through the complex to refill reusable bottles, referred to as hydration stations. Prior to this ban, San Francisco Airport racked up around 28 million pounds of waste each year, while selling 10,000 bottles of water per day. The ban came in coordination with a 2014 city ordinance prohibiting the sale of single-use plastic water bottles on San Francisco-owned property, and is the latest policy change in the airport's overarching plan to cut carbon emissions and energy use to zero by 2021. Number 6. Non-rescue pet sales. The Golden State kicked off 2019 by becoming the first state in the United States to bar the sale of non-rescue dogs, cats, and rabbits by pet stores. By doing so, California lawmakers hope to put an end to pet mills, or privately owned pet breeding operations that often churn out puppies, kittens, and rabbits with little to no structured oversight. Breeders that run a business off the adolescent animals they house have been shown too often to keep the would-be pets in cramped, unsanitary conditions with restrictions on essential needs like food, water, social interaction, and even veterinary care. Many animals already end up in rescue shelters due to owner negligence or other unfortunate circumstances, and many believe these pet mills simply feed into the already massive stray population. However, despite these negatives, the law only applies to official pet store owners. Californians are still allowed to purchase pets from breeders directly. Though being the first state to enact this law, it falls in line with over 250 local governments that already implement something similar, and states like Washington, New Jersey, and New York are anticipated to follow their example. Number 5. Fur products. Following in the footsteps of Los Angeles, California became the first state to ban the sale of animal fur in 2019. Approved on October 11th, the state made it illegal to sell, manufacture, or donate new fur products, including clothing, slippers, shoes, hats, handbags, or even keychains. It doesn't apply to animal-produced non-fur materials like shearling, cowhide, or leather, and objects used for religious purposes, taxidermy products, and used fur are still fine for transactions. This law was passed by current Governor Gavin Newsom in conjunction with a number of other animal cruelty-focused bills. These other bills tackled subjects like protecting bobcats from hunters, protecting horses from slaughter, and banned the use of animals in circuses. The combination of these laws were signed into law in accordance with Newsom's statement that California is a leader when it comes to animal welfare. While the banning of fur products won't go into action until 2023, other states may follow suit as Hawaii and New York have introduced similar legislation. Number 4. Foie gras. One of the more specific laws put into action to fight animal cruelty by the California government was the 2004 foie gras law. This law prohibits the forced feeding of birds for the purpose of enlarging its liver beyond normal size. As a result, the traditional method of preparing the French dish foie gras is no longer allowed in the Sunshine State. While being passed in 2004, the law grants chefs of California an 8-year grace period before it would go into effect so as to allow them to find an alternative method to create and serve foie gras. But in that time, no alternate method was discovered. As the enactment date grew near, chefs instead went all out in offering foie gras in a number of creative forms to give customers one last taste of the dish while within state borders. Some restaurants attempted to skirt this ruling by serving foie gras to customers without charging them, attempting to draw a difference between selling and gifting the meal. Since then, it has been challenged repeatedly. However, as of January 2019, the ban remains in effect. Number 3. Zoot suits. As jazz became the popular music of choice in the 1940s, so too did its related fashion. Zoot suits were all the rage as many Americans donned the oversized blazers, wide-brimmed hats, and roomy pant legs of the era. But in Los Angeles, it didn't take long for these outfits to take on a new connotation. Following an incident at the end of summer in 1942, in which a fight broke out among the zoot suit-wearing youth, resulting in the passing of a young man named Jose Diaz, over 600 zoot suiters were rounded up by the Los Angeles Police Department, most of which being Latino. While the vast majority of these zoot suiters were released from custody, the media latched onto the story and continued the narrative that zoot suits were gang-related. Tensions built and altercations broke out on the streets, coining the term zoot suit riot. At the same time, rationing in the U.S. was of utmost importance, and with the situation at hand, lawmakers saw a means for saving on wool use. Thus, zoot suits were branded unpatriotic by their unnecessary use of fabric and were banned in LA in 1943. Number 2. Nunchucks. During the height of the martial arts film craze in the 1970s, after the release of Bruce Lee's legendary film Enter the Dragon, Americans were introduced to a litany of martial arts weapons. One of the most iconic among them was the nunchuck, or the nunchaku, as they're classically known. Newsweek caught on to the Kung Fu sensation and published an article titled Killing Sticks, sensationalizing their danger to society in the process. Alerted to this apparent threat, many lawmakers saw fit to limit, restrict, and outright ban their use, including California Governor at the time, Ronald Reagan. Martial arts instructors throughout the state attempted to sway the government to alter this ban, but only slightly succeeded in granting nunchucks allowance in martial arts schools only. Making, importing, selling, giving, and possessing nunchucks in public remains banned in California today. Breaking this 45-year-old law is considered a felony offense. Number 1. Kids' meal toys. Fast food and obesity, especially in children, have been closely associated for years, both by popular news coverage as well as through scientific studies. In hopes of fighting this societal issue, in 2010, San Francisco issued a ban on the free distribution of toys with unhealthy meals while defining standards for nutritional content. This, lawmakers hoped, would either deter families from getting high-calorie, low-nutrition kids' meals for their children or inspire companies like McDonald's and Burger King to provide healthier options for adolescents. Instead, these companies now sell the allotted toys to consumers for 10 cents each. And while they haven't quite complied with the specificities of the ordinance, there have been improvements such as the overall reduction of caloric content in Happy Meals by 110 calories.